Hey, we are in effect. Playoffs, baby. What's going on, guys? We in the house. All right. Who's in the house tonight? I want to start the conversation by saying thanks for coming out. I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the content. This is awesome. I hope I can answer your questions and what's up, Joe? How you running, brother? Josh, how you doing, my man? Yeah, so game 3 tonight. I think that we got ourselves a series because a series doesn't start until a home team loses. Well, this series started in game 1, and I think that Drew Holiday is not getting enough credit for what he's done offensively in the series. I think he had 33 in game 1. He had 27 in game 2, or 22 in game 2. He's averaging almost 27 a game. I think he did a really good job on Trae Young of limiting his touches and just keeping him off rhythm. And I think that in order for them to have a shot, I think that has to continue. Going downhill and going after these guys offensively is what needs to continue because the Hawks are home and all the energy is on their side, so to speak. But I don't know how true that is. But we're gonna see. The Hawks got a really good unit, though, man. They got one really good player, but they got a really good unit. So we're gonna see what they're made of. You got the Hawks winning, Joe. You got them winning tonight. All right. I got Jacob's TikTok. I did write that down. Thank you very much, sir. I'm definitely gonna try to get with him. Well, I don't know what Trae's stat line is gonna be, but I'll bet the house that it's gonna be more than 11 points tonight. I'm pretty confident in that. So nice job, yo. Nolan, what's up, brother? Young Mamba, I'm doing good, brother. How you running? I remind you of your grandfather. That's awesome. I think Collins is a solid pro. I don't know if he's a star, but I think he's a solid pro, and I think he's somebody that can help a championship unit. Yep, ran him right over. Good call. Well, I'll tell you what, Green Bean. I don't know exact. Milwaukee does have that dog in them, and if that's true, this Atlanta team is not a team that you want to let hang around because they're rolling. They're rolling right now primarily on confidence. They really believe that they can win the NBA championship. They don't think they can beat Milwaukee. They think they can win the whole thing. Nice job. Yeah, they think they can win the whole thing. So the longer this series goes on, the more confidence that builds with them. So if they have the dog in them that you say they do, then they have to end this. They can't let Atlanta stick around. They got to end this thing early. And I don't mean just tonight. They got to end this thing early. What's up, Aaron? I'm doing good, brother. How you doing? I think the Pip and KD beef is overblown. I think KD is I think he took it a little too far because this wasn't about anything personal. This was somebody asked Scottie Pippen a question about what he thought of Kevin Durant in that particular situation, and he answered it honestly. Now, for Kevin Durant to attack him about him not going into a game, which he did do that, but that wasn't necessary. But that's KD. That's who he is. My thoughts on Alex English is phenomenal. He had a stretch in the 80s where he was one of the best small forwards in the game. He got caught in the Doc and Bird era. And he wasn't really overlooked because he was awesome. He just wasn't as good as those guys. But he was awesome. And anybody who knows basketball will tell you Alex English was incredible. If PG-13 comes back from 3-1, that means that, one, the Clippers were the better team. And two, who exactly is Paul George? Because I need to get some specifics on exactly what a number one is. From you guys, tell me what a number one is. What is the criteria of a number one? What is your job if you're a number one? Thomas, what's up, brother? What is your job if you're a number one? If you're a lead dog? What's up, Jay? What up, Phil? I know you're here. Dude that leads the team. Okay, so he leads the team where, Joe? Is he leading them to the playoffs? Is he leading them deep into the playoffs? Are they winning the NBA championship? Do they have to win the NBA championship? Because you guys tell me all day long, Luka is a number one. They haven't been out of the first round of the playoffs since Luka been on the team. And this is year 3. And I listen to these guys all the time tell me about how Luka is better than LeBron James. When LeBron James in his 3rd year, they made it out of the first round of the playoffs. And he was averaging almost 30 a game, over 30 a game. So I'm trying to make sense exactly on what a number one is. Getting the boys involved while getting buckets is a number one. That's fair. Okay. So he's a facilitator. Just got to do the best for their team so they can get it done when they need. All right. So now, so if that's true, if you got to do the best for their team and want to see them win, so who classifies as a number one? Who, in your estimation, is a number one? The number one makes their teammates better. All right. The number one can take over, lift teammates, and be the best all time. All right. Demand the ball and score, facilitate efficiently. Okay, so Embiid is a number one. Kawhi is a number one. KD is a number one. PG is a number one. James is a number one. Steph is a number. So now I'm getting a better idea of who a number one is. So winning the whole thing is not as important, is what I'm understanding. Because it takes more than just me being awesome as a number one. I need some things to go my way. Is that fair? CP3 is definitely a lead guard, no question about it. I think Paul George is a number 2 on a championship team, but that's just my estimation. I think he has number 1 talent. What's up, Jake? How you running, brother? PG is a complimentary player. All right. I love Robbie Williams. I've said that more than once, more than twice about Robin Williams. Robin Williams he's a 15-foot jump shot away from being Horace Grant. I love Robin Williams. Joker is a number 1. B, what's up? PG used to be number 1. So what happened to Paul? Why isn't Paul George a number 1 anymore? A number 1 does have to be consistent. I think Miles Bridges is a super freak of an athlete. I think that he's going to be in the league for a long time. He did break his leg, but that slowed him down, but that didn't stop him. He came back just as good. I think Bam can be a number one. I do think that. Who isn't consistent, Kevin? His mentality got destroyed with the slander. Yeah, that did play into it, and it didn't help that they were isolated the way they were. So that definitely caused a lot. That caused them to struggle. So the physical tools are there for Paul George in your estimation, Big. You think that for him it's upstairs? I didn't know much about Darko Milicic before he came in. I was wrapped up in Carmelo Anthony and Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. I didn't really know much about the Euro when he came in. I do think that New Orleans is going to lose up. Yes, I do. What's up, Beast? How you running, brother? I think Russell Westbrook got 2, maybe 3 more years tops at this level before he starts to slow down. So that window for him to be on a contender is slowly closing. I don't think Harden joining the Nets is bad for the league. Why would it be bad for the league? KD did it, and it was great for the league. Well, Ben, the Rockets, they're essentially starting over this year. John Wall, what John Wall did, nice job, big man. What John Wall was doing this year was to prove that he could still play. Now, next year, he's got to prove that he can still play at a high level. I don't know if he's still going to be on the roster. I don't know if they're going to keep him, but next year he's going to have to prove that he can still play at a high level. Derrick Rose winning the league MVP. He would be the only league MVP not to be in the Hall of Fame. So I think LaMarcus Aldridge is an all-time great. And I think that he'll be at some point in the Hall of Fame. I don't think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I would have loved to have seen him stay in Portland and develop that Dame, him, CJ trio. I think they would have been great. I think Bradley Beal is an amazing talent. I think that he can score. Good shot. I think that he can score on anybody at any point. And I think that he's going to be able to do that. He's only 28 years old. I think he's going to be able to do that for a long time. Joe, my top 5 power forwards of all time are Duncan, Malone, KG, Barkley, and it's a split between Dirk and McHale at 5. I haven't heard any rumors about Luka leaving. Luka's not leaving any money on the table, and they love him in Dallas. They're building it around him. There's no reason for him to leave there. I can't really compare Shea Gill to anybody right now that I've seen, but he's a dynamic point guard, and I think that he's going to be. I think he's going to be something. Would you ask, George? Who do I have winning in the Fury Wilder trilogy? Well, I've said this before. Tyson Fury is a better boxer than Wilder. His technique is better. His footwork is better. His defense is better. He's got a longer reach. His jab is better. Overall, he's a better boxer. The reason why he lost the first time was because he was coming out of something. You saw who the better boxer was in this. If you watched the second fight, you saw who the better boxer was, and it wasn't a question. I don't think the NBA will add an expansion team. I do think Seattle will get an NBA team. Nice job, big man. Fast, what's up, brother? How you doing? C's my man. My first reaction when I heard LeBron was going to the Heat, I didn't like the way it went down. I didn't have a problem with him leaving. I just didn't like the way he handled it. And he later on said that he was wrong for that, the way he handled that. But my favorite boxer of all times, I was a heavyweight fan, and I got out of the heavyweight division when Lennox Lewis retired. He was my guy. I was a huge Lennox Lewis fan. That's the reason why Klitschko stayed on top for as long as he did, because Lennox was gone. Lennox busted him up more than once, more than twice. My sports idol, I was a huge Sweetness fan. I just thought him and Jerry Rice. Short. Milwaukee has to match Atlanta's intensity, and they have Atlanta. All Atlanta's doing is playing harder. That's all they're doing right now. They're not doing anything different. They're just playing harder than them. What's up, Joseph? How you running, brother? Old school comparison for Embiid. When he first came in the league in 17, I thought he had a Olajuwon potential. But he's not the athlete that he is. But I thought that he was that good. I think he can be that good. Beto, what's up, brother? I would be surprised if Atlanta won both of these games. Well, the Sixers, I've said this already. They just signed him to an extension, so it's obvious that he's in their plans. Now, the public pressure could very well cause them to move in a different direction. I don't think that that's something that they're thinking about right now. We're talking about the dude's been in the league 4 years. He's been on the All-Star team 3 times. He's been an All-League defender twice. So I think he's absolutely in their plans. I think that he's somebody that they got to work with and they got to work on. Well, no, and that's the problem right now. Milwaukee hasn't matched Atlanta's intensity. They came out and punched these dudes in the face. That's what they did. My top 5 movies, I'm an action and comedy guy. Heat, not in any particular order. Heat, The Negotiator, Armageddon, Trading Places. I got to think about that 5th one. Well, we already talked about DeAndre Ayton, man. He's made himself a lot of money in these playoffs, and he absolutely needs Chris Paul to be back there next season, because what's going to happen is that the potential that we all thought seeing him is going to be realized. No doubt about that. Allen Iverson, I put him in the same category with Steph Curry, where he's not a shooting guard. He's not a point guard. He's just a guard. He's a positionless player who is unmatched. We can't really put a finger on who he was as a position player. That's why he was such a good player, because you match a point guard on him, he's going to torch him. You put a bigger 2 guard on him, he's going to torch him too. So he was such an enigma, because even though he was small in stature, he was incredible in other areas. I think Ja Morant's going to be an all-pro at some point. The key is what Memphis is going to do to build around him and to keep them competitive. Oh boy, somebody's calling me. Hang on. Yo, I'm live.
Hey, send me your handle so I can come on with you.
It's Chill Town Hoops. I apologize, guys. Which Warrior squad would be the We Believe Warrior squad? My favorite dunker of all times is Jordan, followed by Dominique. No, I don't think LeBron is done. I do think that I think that he's got one more year maybe at this level before he starts to slow down. He still will be really good. He just won't be the best player in the game. I think he's got one more year at that level before he starts slowing down. My top 5 point guards of all time: Magic, Stockton, Isaiah, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash. I don't watch as much baseball as I should. My Mets are in first place, and I really need to start paying more attention to them, and I'm not. The greatest boxer of all time. The best that I've seen in my life, in terms of technique, Floyd Mayweather was incredible. That's a good one. Josh, you ain't really feeling that ass whooping we put on you yesterday either, are you? You didn't like that? Nah? Even though they did I did see the Phillies stomp my Mets today. I did see that. Anthony Davis's injuries are a huge concern. Absolutely, they are. In fact, that's what's if he could stay healthy, I think the Lakers would have went further than what they did. But the way that Laker team is constructed right now, they're not going to win going forward because that team is constructed. That team is constructed where James does all the work. We're talking about a dude, he's going to be 37 in December. It's not going to work. Nice job. Tracy McGrady is an all-time great. Unfortunately, he couldn't stay healthy for long periods of time, and he just couldn't put it together in the playoffs, man. He was on some really good teams, and they just couldn't put it together in the playoffs. I don't know how much longer Carmelo is going to play. I wouldn't be surprised if he quit after next season. Rebound. Nice. Oh, that 06-07 Warriors, and that was a terrible matchup for the Mavs. I thought that Dallas could make it back to the finals, but them running up on that Warriors team was a terrible matchup for them. That's why they lost. That was probably the only team in the West that could beat them. I don't think Phoenix would have beat them. I don't think San Antonio would have beat them. Even though San Antonio won the NBA championship, I don't think they would have beat Dallas. I don't. Flores, love you too, brother. What about Big Shot Rob? What about him? Well, and this is another question that I have for you, Ethan. I'm gonna send it back to you. What's the alternative for Leonard? If he leaves, where does he go and what is he trying to prove going there? Because they built that whole thing around him with the Clippers. That whole thing is built around him. So if he's gonna leave, where is he gonna go? And what is he proving leaving? Is that right, Jess? That's interesting. Thanks for the information, my man. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's 11 seconds. Blow the whistle. Well, Russ is on the Wizards. Russ is on the books for another 2 more seasons. So, and they just signed Bradley Beal to an extension. Good shot, yo. Nice. I like that. Top 10, my top 5 tight ends of all time, in no particular order. Gronk, Tony Gonzalez, Shannon Sharp. I'm sorry, hold on for a second. Nice. I'm sorry. Gronk, Tony Gonzalez, Shannon Sharp. I'm not ready to put Travis Kelce in that 5 yet, but he's getting close. I'm only going 3. Mark Bavaro was really good too. Am I close to monetization? Is that right? That's interesting. Well, Milwaukee, basically what they're doing right now is they've joined the fight. They came out and Atlanta punched them in the face, and they weren't prepared for that. And one, get in. Yikes. See, this right here, this kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that works. My favorite Niner of all times? Terrell Owens is my guy. All day long. Terrell was a bigger, faster, stronger version of Jerry Rice. Even though Jerry Rice is the best. T.O. is my favorite. Him and Roger Craig. Mike, Mr. Vaughn, what do you mean he has no skill? Dribbling is a skill. His footwork, he worked on that. That's a skill. Nice job. Like, this is for a guy this big to be handling it for passing. That's a skill, Mike. Mr. Vaughn, how are you not seeing that? Those are skills. If he had no skills, then he wouldn't be able to do that. Oh, the Niners are that's my team all day long. These are skills right here. Being able to handle the basketball like that and pass like that. Block. Crack it. I don't like Portis out there shooting threes, but okay. What do I rate Randy Moss? Randy Moss is the second best wide receiver of all time. Jerry was the hardest working. Jerry was the hardest working. Randy was the most talented. T.O. was the toughest. Let's see here. Yeah. Australia's in the house. Good day, mate. My favorite sport to watch. Portis is a 40% three-point shooter. I don't like him shooting that right there. I don't like him shooting that shot. That early in the shot clock. Not only that early in the shot clock, we got something going to the basket. Now, he was wide open right there. I can't fight that, but I think we could have got something better than that. I don't think the Celtics are that far away. I think they're close. I think they're a third scorer away. All right. Megatron was the most dominant. So I put Megatron right behind T.O. That's cash. Yep. Good shot, yo. Well, my thoughts on the Lakers again are the way that team is constructed. It's built primarily around LeBron doing all the work, and that's not going to get it done. You got to get some more guys in there to help him, because you can't be serious about winning, which the Lakers, since they got LeBron, are serious about winning. You can't believe that you're going to win with a guy that's going to be 37 and he's carrying the entire load, passing, scoring. That's not going to work. Top 5 heavyweight boxers of all time. Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Larry Holmes. Nobody talks about Larry Holmes nearly as much as they should. Larry Holmes is the only boxer in the history of the heavyweight division. He held the belt for 8 straight years. No other boxer can say that they did that. That includes Rocky Marciano. So Larry Holmes, Tyson, Lennox Lewis, George Foreman, and Ali. I don't know if Sabonis can be an MVP, but I do think he's got all NBA potential. Yes, I do believe that. Top 5 quarterbacks of all times. I think I went over this in no particular order. Montana, Brady, Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, Drew Brees. I did like Kyle Kuzma. He's so inconsistent, man. One minute he got me thinking that this is my starting small forward for the next 10 years. And the next, I don't know what to do with him.
What's going on, Dad?
State Farm commercial. Anything can happen. It's okay. Sometimes in life you have to face those things.
Well, I am a boxing fan, Steve. I am a boxing fan. My uncle turned me on to it when I was a kid. He had me watching George Foreman and Larry Holmes, and I do listen to Otis Redding.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I have listened to Otis Redding. I haven't listened to him recently, but I have listened to Otis Redding. If every GM position, which job are you jumping at first? Oklahoma City. They got 14 first-round picks. 14. And one of the best young point guards in the game in Shea. Michael Jackson is the greatest entertainer in the history of the planet, in my opinion. I didn't watch Lomachenko. I wasn't able to catch the fight, and that was my fault. But I watched Lomachenko a couple of months ago, and even though he was rusty, he still looked sharp. He still looked better than 85 to 90% of the guy. Even after taking off 2 years, he still looked really, really good. I thought about it. My favorite food, I'm vegan, so I eat a lot of rice. I eat a lot of vegetables. So Biggie is the best that I've ever heard. And I'm a huge Tupac fan also. But I had a fallout after Big was killed because I was done with Tupac because I felt like the reason why Big is dead is because of you. And I ended up hearing some Tupac music later on. This was like 97 or 98. And I realized that, this guy's really, really good. And I started listening to him again. What up, J Double? How you running, brother? ODB is, Odell Beckham. I call him ODB. He's fantastic. I don't know if that Cleveland system works for him. He's more of a go route wide out, and that's not the way things are constructed in Cleveland. Cleveland, they run a lot of digs. They run a lot of outs, and they don't utilize speed like that in Cleveland. Tupac did die first, but I felt like the beef is what caused Biggie to be killed, and I felt like Pac was the one who started that, and that's why I had a lot of animosity for him. because we all knew during that time that Big didn't have anything to do with him getting shot. We all knew that. And Pop was getting gassed. I said this a couple of years back, and I stand by it. I do think in the very near future, the Philadelphia 76ers are going to win the NBA championship. I do think that. Wow, T-Mac or Vince Carter. T-Mac was more skilled, man, and he was a better overall offensive player than Vince Carter. My favorite NFL team, I'm a 49er fan. That's y'all, big man. I'm a 49er fan. I had them winning a ring with Ben Simmons. I can't leave him open. No, I can't leave Gallinari open. He's not going to miss a lot when he's open. Not going to happen. He's too good. And take care of the basketball. It's a good idea. That's a bad pass. Oh, good shot. What were my strengths as a hooper in real life? I was an above average athlete. I had a pretty good mid-range game. Good shot. I had a pretty good mid-range game. When I played in my early years in college, not when I played at Utah State, but when I played in my early years in college, I was a really good one-on-one player. So, good shot. Lemon pepper. To put it mildly, that Run TMC group with Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullin, if they played today, they'd win. They'd be a 60-win team regularly. They'd regularly be a 60-win team. I do have highlights, only except they're on VHS, and I haven't been able to convert them to DVD yet. Oh. Yeah, this is terrible defense guard to three. You can't leave Gallinari wide open. You can't leave Lou Williams wide open at the long ball spot. They got to guard the three better. That's wide open. That's a wide open shot right there. My top 5 middleweights. Sugar Ray. Was Sugar Ray a light heavyweight? No, he was a middleweight. Sugar Ray, Tommy Hearns. Roy Jones was a light heavyweight. Al, nice job, yo. Mm-hmm. Nelly, what happened to the big man that stayed in the paint, Nelly? I'll tell you what happened to the big man that stayed in the paint. The Euro happened to him. The Euro, the 6'10", 6'11" guy that came from Europe that now shoots threes and, this is the future of the game. Yeah, he was the one who pushed the big man out because now we have to compete with that. Even though the Patrick Ewings and David Robinsons and Shaquille O'Neals of the world, that was working just fine. And they could guard out there, but now with those guys shooting threes, we got to go out there and shoot threes too to stay current with the game. Forget the 3 others. Ran him right over. It was a block because he was in the restricted area. That's a good call. I'm 6'3", flat-footed, no shoes on, 6 feet 3 inches. I dig Devin Booker. I dig Ayton. Actually, when they came down to Miami a couple of years ago, I went to go see him. I went to go see him. I dig Jason Tatum. Good day. He hit the ball. He hit the ball. Sit down, folks. Derek Jeter is the greatest baseball player that he's the best baseball player that I've ever seen. And I'm president of the King Griffey fan club. I don't hoop anymore, no. I think that DeAndre Ayton can be a better offensive player than Dwight Howard. I think he has the potential to be a better defensive player. Nice job, Giannis. What I want to do is I just want to dead this talk about Giannis not being skilled. If everybody could do that, then everybody would. Every 6'11" guy in the NBA, if he could do that, he would be doing that. Giannis is one of a handful of guys who can do that. So let's dead this. He's not skilled. If you're saying he's not skilled, that means you're not watching. Imposing my will on you doesn't mean that I'm not skilled. Shaq imposed his will on guys. Jabbar imposed his will. Jordan imposed his will. My favorite NFL team are the 49ers.
The edge from Pizza Hut comes loaded with toppings all the way to the edge. From the crust, let's keep it real thin, crispy. Every bite is a masterpiece.
Greetings from Greece. I lived in Glyfather for a little bit. I did. And about 20 years ago, I lived in Glyfather. I had a great time in Greece. Greece wasn't a nice place. Greece was an incredible place. I had a great time there.
You can buy on a lot online or any combination between tuition CarMax. T-Mobile is the leader in 5G. Experience it now.
Best nicknames I heard. In the NBA, I think the Diesel is incredible. That's a great name for anybody to be called the Diesel. That's awesome. I've been through New Orleans. I've never actually been in the city of New Orleans, and I heard it's a great place too. The ideal third option for the Celtics. I got to think about that because they don't need another 20 a game guy, just another 14, 15 a game guy who plays down low, who plays in the post, because they already got their perimeter guys in Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Somebody who plays in the post, who can knock down a 15-footer. I've never been to Germany, no, sir. The big ticket is better than who? I think Luka is an incredible talent. I just think that Luka he's still trying to figure out the game, and he's going primarily off just talent, and I'm just better than a lot of you guys. And once the game starts to slow down for him and he starts to understand it better, he's going to have that 12-13 James season, that 91-92 Jordan season. So cheers, Phantom. I do think the Niners can keep Fred Warner if he doesn't overvalue himself. Big Ticket is a better name than Diesel. I'm sorry. The Big Ticket is a dope name. I can't fight that. I think Air Jordan was a great name. Doc was a great name. My favorite was the Diesel, though. I like Canelo. Canelo is an awesome boxer. Black Mamba was an awesome nickname. Magic was an incredible nickname too. I think Kittle can be an all-time great tight end. His route running, his blocking is very good. Very good. Nice job, big man. Nice job, Giannis. Good. Good defense. No help down there, big man. You and him. Nope, that's nothing. Good shot. Good shot. Nice job, y'all. Actually, Dennis's nickname was the Worm. It wasn't Dennis the Menace. It was the Worm. Top 5 freak athletes. Randy Moss, Megatron. I'm sorry. Randy Moss, Megatron, Giannis. Unbelievable. Are any of you guys watching this? Can you please stop saying Giannis isn't skilled? Can we dead that? Please stop saying that. I'm not asking you. I'm begging you. Please kill the Giannis is not skilled narrative because he's extremely skilled. This is an all-world player. All world. This dude, John Collins, can't do anything with him. Nothing. And it's not just because he's bigger than him. So anyway, I'm sorry to yo, Shisu, you have no idea what. So let me ask you this, Shi. If he isn't skilled, what exactly do you classify as skilled? Since we're on that subject, if he isn't skilled, what is skilled? I'm all ears. Good day. Nope. No foul on that. LeBron is skilled. Okay, I don't need to know who is skilled. I know who is skilled. Tell me why Giannis isn't skilled. He's just an uber athlete. Okay. Nice. He's 7 foot. He can't dribble. So Giannis can't dribble. Okay, so when you see him go coast to coast, what does that mean? When you see him doing that? Nice job, Giannis. So when you see him go one-on-one with a guy, is that what it is being? Is he trolling and I'm giving this too much attention? Okay, so I'm gonna dead that. All right. He can't shoot, he can only drive. Well, driving is a skill. Good shot, Jan. Good shot. I don't have a specific team I'm rooting for. I do think that Milwaukee has the best shot in winning it, though. I do think that. The Warriors next season. I think they're in the catbird seat with getting that lottery pick from Minnesota. Good shot, Collins. I think they're in the catbird seat with getting that lottery pick from Minnesota, because they have assets to deal if they're looking to get immediately back into title contention. Even though I think that they're going to be a legit contender, defense is a skill, Joey. Defense is absolutely a skill, and anybody who doesn't believe that needs to be skilled on what exactly defense is. So, two-time league MVP and defensive player of the year is trash. I'm Uchella, I think that's how I say your name. Uchella. We're done talking. So you think they smoke Milwaukee? Phoenix does. What would Milwaukee have what would Milwaukee have a problem with that Phoenix does? Such a problem with that would just completely just steamroll them. That will make Phoenix steamroll them out of the playoffs. So CP3 would be the difference, and he would be the reason why they steamrolled Milwaukee or Atlanta. That's interesting. I'm not betting against LeBron, Mr. Hill. I will not. If James is healthy, I'm not betting against him. I do think Holiday can deal with CP3. That's fair. I don't know, because Chris Paul sets up Ayton so well. You know, they don't actually go to Ayton for buckets. Ayton is more of a rim runner, and he gets a lot of his stuff in transition and off pick and roll. But I think that he'd have a tough time slowing him down. Westbrook is not a top 5 point guard all time. TV. What's up, brother? And thank you. But I don't think Westbrook is a top 5 point guard all time. No. I don't think that Lonzo Ball is going to be in New Orleans after this season. I think that he's going to be even though he's a restricted free agent, I think he'll be very sought after. I think Zion is. I think if barring health issues, I think he can be the future face of the league. Absolutely, we do. You're talking about Lonzo in Chicago or New York. I love Lonzo in Boston. I love Lonzo in Boston. I've never been to Australia, Max. Australia is on my bucket list. I would like to see Australia. Top 5 players in the league right now, Giannis. I still think James is a top 5 player. I still think Luka is a top 5 player. I think KD is a top 5 player. Even considering he missed half the season, but I still think he's a top 5 player. That isn't him. I try to peek my head into a number of different sports. I baseball as much as I possibly can. I don't as much as I should. Egypt, what's going on, guys? I think the Clippers, even though I said that the Clips Jazz winner wins the Western Conference, it's going to be hard for them to win now, considering what they did. What I saw last night, it looks like they emptied it. Looks like they gave a lot of what they had last night. I wasn't around when Walt was playing. I was in my infancy when Walt Frazier was playing. Good shot. Shot. I have been to England. I've been to London. Long shot. Good shot. Good shot. Kevin Johnson is not underrated all time. Kevin Johnson is exactly where he should be. Kevin Johnson he wasn't better than Magic. He wasn't better than Stockton. He wasn't better than Isaiah. I think he was just as good as Tim Hardaway. He wasn't better than Gary Payton. So he's not underrated. He's exactly where he should be. I can name a bunch of different point guards that were better than him. He was not underrated. He was awesome, though. Mexico, ¿cómo está? They're terrible at guarding the three ball. Terrible at it. Right now, Milwaukee is doing a terrible job guarding the three. I don't have any desire to be a coach. No, I don't, sir. Well, if Leonard was healthy, I just thought that the Clippers were just better all around defensively, and I thought that would be the difference in the series. But losing Leonard was huge for them. Marvin Hagler was an incredible boxer. He was his technique was flawless. He was a brawler, but he also knew how to switch up his style. So he was one of those fighters who he could get in the middle of the ring and he could go blow for blow with you, or he could also get on his toes and he could jab and move. He could stick and move. So I dug Marvin Hagler. And he didn't have a glass jaw neither. My thoughts on the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks are that far away. I do think that they need a number one, because if you think that Julius Randle is a number one, that's fool's gold. He's a B player who had an A year. Like Isaiah Thomas in 2016. See, they're not going to miss those. That's a wide open three right there. Trey Lance. I'm sorry about Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is going to be a starter at some point. Trey Lance for me today is who am I thinking about? Just went to Indianapolis. He was playing in Philly. Oh man, I'm looking right at him. I can't believe I forgot his name. He just went to Philly. I mean, he just left Philly and went to Indianapolis. Carson Wentz. That's him. That's who Trey Lance is for me. I remember 5 years ago when he was coming out in the draft, and North Dakota State had been in the national championship. I think they had won a national championship 3 of the 4 years that he'd been there. And immediately I'm thinking to myself, why isn't somebody on the staff of the 49ers going, maybe we should get somebody to go up there and see what they're doing? Because maybe our starting quarterback is up there. Maybe our starting linebacker is up there, because let's get away from that. So, yeah, I think Trey Lance is going to be. I think he's going to be something dynamic. That is me. You know me? Yo. I think Cat is a top 5 center, but he's on a bad team, and that's the problem. So I would continue to raid the Lakers assistant coach. I would continue to raid that staff. I think Phil Handy would be a really good head coach. So guys, that's it for me. It was great to see you. We're going to do this again tomorrow night, around the same time, about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Clips, Suns, and we'll get back after it. So good to see you guys. Take it light.